Hello and thank you for joining us. This is Brian, your host of the Perish the Thought Show. The opinions of said host and our guests have not been sanitized or scientifically tested, so please consume at your own risk. Ladies and gentlemen, and whoever else is listening, my next guest has a very unusual career. He's not really human. He entertains thousands of NBA fans every night. No one can see him, yet everyone can see him, but not really see him. He may or may not be related to another animal in the NBA who may or may not have been one of the all-time greatest mascots for the past 31 years. We chat about growing up in that shadow and how that influenced his career path. Please help me in welcoming the Detroit Pistons super mascot, Hooper. Hey, man. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This is exciting. You grew up in the shadow of another somewhat famous NBA mascot your whole life, right?
Deep in the shadow.
He's
Yes.
kind of, deep in the shadows. So I want to look back to kind of get a backstory on why you're now Hooper. Did I get that name right? It is Hooper, right?
Yep.
I got it. As I was saying, I'm like, wait a minute, did I get that right?
Nah, Hooper, the mighty, mighty Hooper.
So it's not like someone goes to college for, fills out a resume. Hey, I want to be a clown one day. So let's go back to when, well, your earliest memory is your dad being a mascot.
Yeah.
In the NBA.
It my like, honestly, I think back, like some of my first memories are, I have this vague memory of my dad sitting in the stands and Rocky coming by, and I just couldn't help but call him Dad. And so I have this memory of people looking at me just with the funniest look because I'm calling Rocky Dad. And so are my brothers. And we were just a bunch of kids in the crowd calling Rocky Dad. And we got some crazy looks like that. But then also, we had some going out on to the court, but we didn't really know any different. It was just like, all right, we're going out onto the court. We're doing these things. And we just really didn't understand that, like, people were watching us and people were looking at us. And my dad this was his job.
Did you have other friends, or did you wonder if your friends' dads did the same thing? Because that's all you knew.
Not really. I honestly, at the time, I kind of just assumed that everybody kind of did just stuff like this, and that was just a part of life. It wasn't until I and my dad remembers this moment. He brings it up sometimes, but there was just like a moment where I was like, I think it was one of the games where the Nuggets were playing the Lakers. The Lakers were in town, and my dad took us up to the practice court, and we walked into the gym, and just we got to meet Kobe and Shaq because they were working out, preparing for the game. And then, like, on the way home from the game that night, I was like, man, this was that's cool. Like, I my friends my friends haven't gotten to do that, and it's like, this is pretty cool. So
How old were you when that happened?
I was like 12. And
so old enough that you could grasp the magnitude of what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was really, I mean, that was when the Lakers and, Kobe and Shaq were really, I can't remember where they were at in their career, but I knew that at the time they were uh, becoming big, or they had already been some of the bigger names in the league, and had made some history there already. So yeah.
Were they okay? Now that the whole for the the Hollywood, the superstar, the sports star, were they cool?
They were cool, and they were super cool. Shaq, um, back when in Chicago, um, we just ran into Shaq in the hallway as we were preparing for the All-Star game, and my dad was able to pull him aside, and Shaq was just super personable, and Kobe is too. He's Kobe is also one of those that will sit down and talk to you and listen to you, and he'll uh, the the I'm too cool for you um, mentality like just wasn't there for either of them. I don't think, which is kind of cool to see.
It
And
is cool because sometimes I mean, I know that for several years I was your one of your dad's assistants at those games and watched a lot of smaller name or smaller level, lower level athletes and stars just dismiss kids. And all they would have to do was literally just put up your hand and high five a kid, and you'll make their freaking life.
yeah,
And to know, because it's when you come out and you're young, you're a player, and you get treated like a god, that can go to your head if you're not grounded.
yeah,
And these guys clearly were. I mean, that's why they were, the stars and the mega athletes that they were, because it was at their core.
hmm
So it's
but
nice to hear that.
yeah. When before I got here in Detroit, I was in Cleveland, and I spent a year. Uh, it was um, it was LeBron's last year in Cleveland, and I got to see kind of a little bit of behind the scenes with him, and it was definitely different with him. He does cool things, but and he's cool with some people, but I can't tell you how many times I saw him reject, autographs, and he definitely um, was too cool for school. Um, it, Definitely a different mentality than those other stars had.
And I have heard that. I have not heard many good things about him, but again, that's just what media feeds us.
Yeah,
But just some of the things he's gotten involved with some of these political things and these cop issues, I've been less than impressed with him.
yeah, yep, and
Kind of abusing the platform, but
and I haven't experienced much different up close either.
yeah.
I haven't been too up close because uh, most everybody was kind of cut out from any interaction with him. Um, so there wasn't anything too up close.
Like they almost like they create a bubble around the person,
Oh yeah,
which I think adds to the issue. And I get it. The fanboy, the fangirl attitude when you see somebody that you've watched your whole life and all of a sudden they're standing in front of you to not lose your mind is tough, and I've seen that happen a lot.
yeah.
But so looking back, at what point did you look at what your dad was doing and think, "Oh, I want to do that"? Was
Uh,
it something that he talked to you about and said you ought to or you should, or did you just look at that and what he was doing and go, "That's cool"?
I looked at it. I always looked at it as something that I could never do because I'm too shy. I'm not like I don't have his personality. I'm not talented enough.
Well, to be fair,
Things like that.
your dad doesn't have much of a personality. I mean, come on, let's
I
be fair.
right
In person.
in person, yeah.
Just
he
kidding, Ken, if you're listening.
he yeah. He I never did, and then it wasn't until heck I it took me a long time, but after I graduated college or after I graduated high school, I started thinking about college, and I was like, man, I need a scholarship for college, uh, and I don't know what to do. Like, how do I get a scholarship? Sports was kind of, scholarships for sports had kind of passed, um, but he's like, man, you ought to mascot. I my dad had kind of told me like you gotta be their mascot. Like I'm sure they would give you something for it, and uh, yeah. So I approached that's when we found the school. They've changed their name several times now, but down it was at the time it was called Dixie in St. George.
Back in the non-politically correct days, yes, Dixie College.
Dixie College, yeah. Back then they weren't a university, but yeah, now they've grown a lot. Um, and yeah, I approached them and asked if I could be their mascot. They were uh, yeah, they accepted and gave me a small scholarship to go there.
So what was
So
your
I'm
character there?
he was a bull. Um, shoot, what was his name? He was called Big D.
Big D. It was a
Big
bull
D.
or
It was
like an actual
a Red
bull?
Bull. Yeah, like
Red Bull.
a
Nice.
Red Bull. Yeah, kind of like Benny, except maybe a little uglier.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And so you didn't do any mascotting in high school.
Nope. I tried it one time and hated it. I tried it one time, I think maybe my sophomore, junior year, and it was such a horrible experience being out in front of all of my peers. Uh, it was awful. And then, yeah, I gave the costume back to whoever was doing it at the time and never touched it again.
What was that? Why do you think it was so horrible? Was it just such a surprise, or you didn't know what to expect, or what?
I mean, I just like I didn't know what to expect. I got into the suit, and I think the biggest thing that I couldn't get over was that I was in front of the girls that I liked, the all of my friends, just like my whole world seemed like it was sitting right in front of me, and
Staring at you, but not knowing it was you, but you thought they could see you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
it was rough.
That is funny.
Yeah.
All right. So you go to Dixie, and then how was that? Were you thinking, oh, I got to be like my dad? Or did you just know up front, like, no, I'm going to create my own style, my own character, me, because I'm not my dad?
Um, at the time, so I didn't know any better. I didn't know any different than my dad, really. So it's people say this a lot, but I mean, I at the time I had gotten in costume after I had done things for I don't know, probably halfway through the season. I was a lot more comfortable, and they said that I just looked exactly like my dad. And I did. I knew all of his moves, how he walked, how he interacted with people, how he performed in almost every way. And it was just all I knew at the time. And yeah, that's kind of when I started to think like, you know what, I can actually do this, and that's what I want to do.
His character is infectious, and I'm going to reveal some past. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I met him at Utah State when he was Big Blue, and I was a cheerleader. And I started
Okay.
helping back in 91. So it's been 31 years that we've known
Oh
each
my
other.
goodness.
And I started making props for him because I looked at him like, that is so fun. I've seen mascots. Well, I saw people in suits. I'd never seen a mascot. And there's a difference.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so when he left Utah State, I tried out with 17 other people for his position and I didn't get it. But when I came to Denver, I he knew the Colorado Foxes was their pro soccer team at the time. And so I ended up trying out for that or doing a game and getting hired to be their mascot. But I found myself mimicking a lot of your dad's moves because they worked. And so I did a little bit of his stuff. In fact, at one point when I was doing that, he was in Australia doing an appearance. And this was when Fox Sports was a brand new network and they were doing a commercial in Hollywood. And your dad was in Australia and he couldn't do it. So there was an extra suit. So they flew me out to Hollywood and I was in this commercial as Rocky,
Oh
and it
wow.
was because I knew enough about his character. I mean, I could mimic him as well because I watched that's what I watched for all these years and patterned my own. So as
Oh
goofy as
wow.
he is, as much as I rib him, it's contagious because,
It
like I say,
is.
his moves they work, and watching him communicate with no words, it's literally like watching a cartoon, and you're like, wow, that is the coolest to be able to do that.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was fun. That was some fun times.
Oh, that's super cool. I didn't know that.
That's all right. Well, he
Wow.
doesn't share stories unless it's about
Yeah.
him.
Unless it's about
Yeah.
him.
But no, I tried out for the Colorado Avalanche when they were came in and basically won that whole thing, but they got political and didn't have a mascot the first year. But we did
Oh
some
wow.
cool
Okay.
things. That was a lot of fun. I was a little butthurt that they just abandoned the whole project and didn't have a mascot the first year because I tried really hard.
Yeah.
And then
How old were you at the
I
time?
think your cousin, your dad's cousin got the job the next
Oh,
year. So
Reese.
I
Yeah.
was, gosh, it was 90. When was that? 95, 96. So I was, I don't know, 25 or so.
Okay.
But I've gotten over it,
Wow.
I think. I'm not bitter much since then.
Much.
But it's a fun, it's such an unusual gig being a cartoon and a clown and getting paid for it. You get to act like you're 6 years old and society rewards you for it.
Yeah.
If you were to do the things you do in your suit, out of your suit, you'd be arrested.
Yeah, you would.
You know. All right,
You
so so 2 year, or how many years were you at Dixie doing that?
um I went there for 1 year and then left on a mission for 2 years and came back and did it for I think another year or so until the suit was stolen. And then
Someone stole the suit. It's like stealing your soul.
I I know. So that's just kind of where it ended
So that
right there.
terminated your job because you didn't have your shell.
Pretty much. I think I spent a total uh really post mission, I think I spent a total of maybe 3 or 4 years down there and yeah, 2 or 3 years in the suit was stolen and then it just kind of like I mean they still have a character and they worked on getting a new suit and everything, but it was just kind of it for me
Yeah, when
down
they
there.
kidnap the mascot, it's tough,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
started looking around, we're in southern Utah and I went to them like, "Hey, the suit is stolen. Can we look on the videotapes?" Like, we're like, "Yeah, we don't have any cameras in or around the building." Like, what? We don't have cameras?
yeah, that seems odd.
And I don't know. Hopefully, they installed some. Like, they've got expensive equipment down there that could go missing at any moment. So they've got equipment
Well,
now. So nobody go down there.
nobody's stealing their stuff. Okay, so that's done. So that phase is over. And your next team was the Cleveland Cavaliers. So how did that come about?
Um, that one was kind of crazy. So like I said, um, it had been a year or two since I had been in um, the costume, at least for Dixie, and I was working. School was done, and I kind of just woke up one day and was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta find a career. I gotta find a job. Um, so I started working on contacting people, letting people know around that I'm interested. Um, and that's when an opportunity with the Globetrotters had opened up. So I reached out to their guy. His name is Zoli, and and interviewed with them. I got the job. Um, Actually, before I did that, I interviewed with them And then the position in Cleveland opened up. It was not open to the public. The character or the man who was there was retiring, so he reached out to a handful of people. I want to say like maybe 5 or 6 people. He knew that I was interested, so he reached out to my dad and said, "Hey, come come interview and try out here." Um, and I did. Uh, Loved it, and came home and didn't hear anything for about 2 months. Um, so I accepted the job with the Globetrotters, and then not too long after that, I want to say in October, um, they gave me a call and offered me the position. So
All right, then how long were you there
I was
with
there
the
for
Cavaliers?
2 seasons.
2 seasons.
So
And Moondog, right? That's the character?
Moondog, yep.
Moondog. Where'd that come from?
Moondog. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is in Cleveland. That's really where rock and roll, and the term rock and roll kind of was born. Um, there was a guy, I can't remember his real name, but they called him they called him Moondog. He was a talk show host and or a radio show host, and they called his viewers the Moondoggers back in the day. So that's kind of where Moondog was born, or the name
Moondog.
Moondog.
All right. So who we were talking earlier about some of the notable players in Cleveland at the time. You wanna give us a little on that little secret?
Yeah, the players there, that was kind of at a time where they dumped a ton of money into just bringing people in to win a championship. At the time, they had LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose. Uh, they had, was it Isaiah Thomas? Isaiah Thomas there. They really had a good crew, but then halfway through the season purged. I mean, Dwayne Wade went back to Miami for his last season or two after that, and then yeah, I think we got rid of Derrick Rose not too long after, and kind
Bunch
of
of nobodies, huh?
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Was LeBron James there the whole time you were there, or did he leave midway through your tenure there, or did you
Yeah,
leave
no.
before him?
So we went through one season of the finals there, and after that, his last finals run there, he was out and went to the Lakers, and that was crazy. They there is a lot of uh, controversy around LeBron, but as far as his game goes, I gained a lot of respect for him that season. He he really is an incredible player. Was he literally he carried the team on his back through that whole finals run. Just he I think there was one game where he had outscored uh, every player on both benches. Uh, I mean, he does that consistently, but to outscore his whole team combined was crazy to see.
Yeah, from an athlete perspective, yeah, the guy is a superhero for sure.
Yeah,
The controversy around him is because he speaks on political matters, which are not his. A lot of
yeah.
Hollywood stars will do that too. And I think years ago, Barbara Streisand, you know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She's like an icon in the music world and acting. And apparently, was had a show and she started spewing, just talking politics, which is that's great. It's your opinion. It's your show. Do what you want. But someone in the audience yelled, "Shut up and sing." I've come here to see you sing. I don't care
Yeah,
about your politics. And that's the same with, I think, LeBron is they may not be so well informed and they spew their opinion because they have that massive platform and it's easy to You know that you have all that influence over a huge amount of people. And
Yeah.
sometimes people don't, I just want to go to the game and see phenomenal basketball
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
phenomenal mascots, like in your case.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't,
and
you know,
yeah, and you know what? That's another part of the job that I try to uh influence here is that uh I tr as the character is concerned, we try to stay away from uh you know, political, religious uh things like that and try to keep the fun-loving just pure entertainment aspect of things. Especially now that we have social media and things like that. I try to relay that as much as I can um, to them. As far as the character is concerned, the team has their views and things like that, but um, I don't think it's the character that needs to
you're there to
protected.
make people laugh.
Yeah, and that's really the
And
purpose, and I think
yeah.
that should be the focus.
So tell me what is so cool? What is the coolest part about doing what you do and being a mascot and seeing the world, seeing all those people look at you and you're a superstar and you're famous and then you can take the suit off and be a nobody, which is a cool thing about being a mascot is you don't have to deal with the crowds because you walk right through the same crowd that was mobbing you 5 minutes earlier and they
Yeah.
don't even know it's you. So tell me what is it? What's the magic about it for you?
It's really just the people, the interaction with individuals. Um, the I That's why I really got into it. When I had that experience in college where I got in suit, that's when I realized I could do it. Um, and then I realized that I really wanted to do it because of the the things that you had the opportunity to be a part of, um, as far as charity work goes, as far as visiting the children's hospital and things like that is really um, what makes it worth it, and really why I try to work so hard.
It's interesting you say that. Like, again, I was only doing it for I think I did 3 seasons in Denver, and some of the coolest experiences were going to the is it the Denver Children's or the Colorado Children's? I don't know what they call it, Children's Hospital in Denver,
Right.
where the biggest takeaway was that such on for such a little effort on my part brought so much joy to kids who are dying.
Yeah.
Really put things into perspective and how I could just go in there and be a goofball and bring a joy to families or kids that haven't seen it in a long time or are not going to make it. Things like that. That's the where you really connect with
Oh yeah.
the crowds and the people and communicate silently, which is cool.
Yeah.
Literally, you're a cartoon that doesn't
Yeah.
talk. That's the cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, a lot of those kids sometimes can't talk or don't talk, and um, having the ability to kind of relate to that in sort of a way. There are a few sign language uh, terms that I've tried to pick up over the years to try to relate a little bit more to that.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
interesting position to be in where you're crying behind the mask while trying to be goofy and funny, seeing situations like that, you
Right.
know. Some of the what's some of the like aha moments where you were like, "Oh, wow. I did not expect that," or "This really sucks." Like tell me the parts that just suck about it because I mean it's not all roses all the time. It's hard work, but tell me some of the things that are really challenging for you in terms of like
Um,
costumes or skits or crowds or fans or rules you have to follow.
oh man. You know what? There's all I don't know. It's not very pretty. Sometimes. I and it really depends on where you're at. I think I've got a lot better situation right now, in some ways, but a lot of it is just in the preparation. Um, my dad always told me that the hardest part of the job is just educating people on your purpose, um,
Educating
and
your
your
your team,
superiors.
your staff, the
Yep,
yeah, the organization
the
as to the
organization.
value. Yeah.
Yep, and helping them to see, because I mean, it's interesting from our point of view. Like my job, there's not a whole lot of like turnover. I guess I'm not going to move up in the company. I'm not really going anywhere. So like my job in this company is my job. And so there's always people around me that are moving. I think the boss that I have now is probably my fifth boss in 6 years that I've had. Um, and so it's constantly been this, hey, when we go to appearances and we're working with our partnerships team or our sponsors, uh, there's always representatives from other departments that are new, and having to help them to understand uh, that we know what we're doing, that just trust us, let let me, here's the vision. If you don't understand it right now, just let me show you. um, and that's honestly been the most challenging part, is knowing the influence that could be there, or the potential that could be there, and not being able to do so.
Are they pretty receptive to that, or do you get a lot of resistance just because they don't understand, or maybe they're prideful and don't want to, or what?
Right now, um, right now I'm in a battle with my superiors. They both uh, they all actually come from New York teams who don't have characters, and yeah, they've really worked with mascots before. In fact, my boss told me that her one uh her, her experience in working with mascots has been super negative. Um, up and up until me, uh, which is not super encouraging.
Negative
But
how?
I think she was working with, in, I think, the G League or the WNBA, where they had a character that, or a person in suit that was not easy to work with. Um, and they were really unprofessional. Uh, I don't think they took their job serious. So,
Yeah, that's the
um,
difference between a mascot and a person in a suit,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
because
Yeah,
there is a huge difference.
yeah, there
You
is
can
a
get in, you can
difference.
get a body and throw it in a suit, but that's just a body in a suit, and you can tell the difference. And I think most people can. They may not be able to like put words on it or identify it, but you can tell.
Yeah. Well, and that's that, along with the educating. That's one of the things we battle is, my bosses want to book Hooper for multiple things, multiple times, and they want to put him in several places at once. And I'm trying to tell them that that's a bad idea. And
Yeah, that
but
is that is the worst idea. You cannot do that. But yeah, trying
yeah,
to explain that because they don't know. They're like, oh, I can just get anybody put it in there because that's what they think. They think sometimes just a dude in a suit.
hmm
Oh no,
uh,
my friend, it's
oh,
not.
we had an experience a year ago exactly, actually. Um, so they booked a last minute event that I couldn't make. Um, I mean, they gave me days in advance, and I was already out of town. Um, and they uh, they decided to put somebody in suit, no matter how much I tried to convince them not to. And uh, he had to go to the hospital. He he yeah, it was 96 degrees out. and he was out there for about an hour, and he needed some serious help. He was bedridden for about 2 days after that. Um,
Yeah, because he's suffocating.
yeah, and he had never done it before. Uh, they had to delete all of like the footage of him at the event, so we didn't post anything with Hooper at the event, and that was a really hard one to swallow because not only was my buddy that I work with, man, he was suffering, but also it was a poor decision to
So he
make.
did somebody. So somebody you knew,
It was
like one of your assistants or something.
Yeah, yeah, one of my assistants. They decided to put him in, and I tried to find other performers, um, but I couldn't find anyone that was available. So they put him in, and it was a really unfortunate situation.
So I bet he's a good advocate for you now in
Yeah,
how that's a bad idea, and here's why.
yep, yeah. He's learned a lot. Of course, he was on board with me at the time. He didn't want to he didn't want to get in suit, but he was willing to, and um, yeah, it just I
Putting someone
feel
in a suit, that's like that's like violating your person. You know,
it
it
kind of
is.
feels like
It
it.
it is. And I know that time I played your dad in that TV commercial, I felt like an imposter, and I it was a situation where it was like in a conference room. That was the setting, so I wasn't walking around. I was just sitting, and I still felt. I mean, I knew I could pull it off, but I'm like, man, the world's gonna know I'm a fraud
Yeah,
because
you know,
it's.
yeah.
Go
While
ahead.
you're talking on that, that just made me think of when I came from Cleveland to Detroit. It was a super interesting situation to me because I mean I had gone to Cleveland, I had had a little bit of professional experience there, and then I came to Detroit, and had already, man, I grew up with Hooper, um, just being around, and I knew that he had a great influence here. So stepping into the suit, I really took it serious that Hooper already has developed relationships with people in the crowd and people at work. Um, and now that I've been here a little bit, I just people every game. I've got secret handshakes with just fans that come every game, and and those are the types of relationships that I worry about. Um, when somebody else is in suit, is I don't want them to pass those kids up on because they have that relationship. So if it's like your friend. If your friend just walks right by you without noticing you one day, you're gonna think that they're mad at you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah, that's an interesting. Did did the guy that was playing Hooper, did he work with you or kind of transition you into the position? And
um
what was he just done? Did he just retire, just got tired of it, or what was the story on his part?
he was there for maybe 4 years, I want to say. And he just got to the point where the company and him were kind of just growing apart. Uh, the company kind of needed Hooper to be Hooper. Hooper is an athletic character. Hooper is a high energy character, um, and the performer was really the opposite. Uh, Not to throw him on the bus or anything, but he kind of let himself go. So he needed some time to go and start a family.
He turned into a fat old man. So what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah,
I said it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I feel bad. He's a great guy, and I'm still in contact with him. So we talk, and he still reaches out. And I've reached out to him too and asked him questions about certain things with the character. but I wouldn't say there's a transition there. It's kind of funny because the company that was here when I started uh, had been there longer than he had, so a lot of the knowledge of the history of Hooper um, was there from those people, and so I got a lot of that from them, a lot of help from them on that aspect.
Why did you pick Detroit? What, did you? I
Um,
mean, do you? Is it just that? Was it the offer, or do you really do a lot of like investigation on the character and his influence in the community and things like that? How'd you make that decision?
yeah, I did so much research on just the character. There's so much you need to know about it that the company may not necessarily like tell you about or even know to tell you about, that really affects like the way you work every day. So knowing how many appearances he does, knowing does he have a vehicle or not, that really affects how you perform. A little bit of research on the suit and how it's made, and um, I definitely did. And I already knew a little bit about his suit, but how am I going to have to work in this suit? And is it something that I could actually, pull off? Is it going to be kind of an uncomfortable situation where I couldn't do it? I don't know.
So you got to figure out if you need to customize it to make because that's your world. You're in that world, and if it's not right, it's like walking around with a pebble in your shoe.
Yeah, that's
It
a
makes you
great way to
crazy.
put it.
You can't really put all you got into it when you're uncomfortable or worried about certain things all the time. I know
Oh
that
yeah.
when I tried out for the Colorado Foxes, I bet it wasn't really a tryout. I just did a game, and the suit they had was 100 years old, and it was a paper mache head,
Oh no.
this goofy looking fox, and I swear the thing had been run over by a car. It looked
No.
deformed, and I'm like, all right, I got that's all I got. Just work with it. And then I think the next year they made a new one and
Okay.
revealed a new character. And but oh my gosh, it was nappy. It looked like Sly the Fox had been on meth for quite a while. It was
I
terrible.
remember Sly the Fox.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Anyway,
Oh my
but yeah,
gosh.
the suit is so critical and that it works. And I always tell people, I look at Jazz Bear for one. His eyes are the character's eyes. So in terms of visual, it's brilliant. It's a little creepy when you're looking at him and he looks right at you.
Yeah.
Uh, but he can see everything and he can do everything. And I know that inside of your head, inside of your dad, inside of Rocky's head, and my head, I always tell people, I'm like, take two toilet paper rolls, the core, stick them up to your
Yep.
eyes and look through those. And that's what it's like. You
Yep.
have no peripheral vision and just getting your brain used to that kind of stuff and doing all the gymnastics that you and your dad do are that's a whole nother level. I never did gymnastics. I relied on my character because I didn't have the athletic ability and wasn't really willing to put in the time to get to that. But
You know, it's incredible. Like we think about this every once in a while. It's incredible that somebody hasn't died yet. Knock on wood. But just the amount of things that people have put themselves through and their bodies through, it's incredible.
I was
You know,
interviewing Jazz Bear last year, and that poor guy has got so many physical problems now, and he's a year younger than me, and he's hammered.
oh my gosh.
Still got a great personality, but his body is just because he
Mm,
risked and he pushed the envelope so much that he broke it a couple times, broke
he
the
did.
envelope.
The last time I saw him, he had surgery on both of his ankles, and uh, the next day walked his daughter down the aisle at her wedding.
Yeah, because he's a stellar human and he pushed through. But yeah,
He is. He's incredible. But
yeah, it's a different breed of human that does this, and it's there's a brotherhood. It's almost like the cops have a brotherhood. Well, mascots do too. The good ones,
yeah,
because you're almost like your own little private union that communicates with the world in a different way, and you know.
yeah.
So how long have you been with the Pistons?
This will be my fourth season, going into
Fourth
my
season.
fourth seasons. Yep.
So you're 6, 7, 8 years. No, you've been doing mascotting for
Um,
how long? How many years total?
5 years total, so going on sixth.
Including college though. So you're
Oh, in
more.
college. Yeah, yeah. I want to say eight, maybe
And how
eight
old are
or
you
nine.
now?
I just turned 30.
Oh my goodness. You're an old man now.
I can't believe it. It
It's
sounds
weird.
old.
Well, yeah, because when I met your dad, you didn't exist yet. I think your mom was
No,
might have been pregnant with you. No, because you were you born in Denver?
I was born in '92.
Oh, so
So
yeah, so
yeah,
the year after they
yeah,
moved
in
to
Denver.
Denver. Yeah. Holy cow.
It's
That is wild.
I
Holy
can't believe it. I got two kids now.
Look at you, man.
Yeah.
And how old is your oldest?
He's two. He just turned
Okay.
two.
He probably just doesn't have a clue yet, really, what you
Not
do.
really. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
gosh,
just
he loves Hooper though. Yeah, he doesn't really have
yeah.
a clue, but he loves Hooper. I think he prefers Hooper over me, probably, but
Well, I'm sure there are times when you preferred Rocky over your cranky dad.
probably, yeah.
So how
Yeah.
long are your is your plan to stay there or kind of just build that character? Anyway, was I was asking you, yeah, like your how long you planning on staying with the Pistons?
Um, I don't know. I really don't. I love I love Detroit. I love the character. I love that the city loves the character. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could be here a while, or who knows? They might get rid of me. I don't know.
You seem pretty easy to work with.
I hope so. I try to be. Um, but yeah, no, I love it here. I really do. I don't know how long we'll be here. I don't even know. I don't know if I can't predict that I'll be a 31-year employee like my dad was, but
Yeah, that's crazy. 31 years.
I can't. Yeah, that's really hard to fathom, especially at 5 years.
I
Yeah.
remember going to his first game at McNichols Arena that doesn't
Oh
exist
man,
anymore
well
in
that would kill
91.
me, man.
That was just the coolest, and you knew he had the magic for it, then. And just I know I just trying to keep up with him when I was living in Denver and trying to kind of be his part-time assistant. And I loved coming up with, like, we'd go into a hardware store and just look around on the shelves and you think, see all these parts and things like, oh, that could be this and that could be that. And we made some cool, crazy props and for his skits and things out of styrofoam. And that was the funnest, you know, making
Yeah.
toys, to use in a prop and a skit. And I still got pictures of some of the sleds we made,
Oh my
you
gosh,
know,
I
just the
can't
fun.
imagine.
Yeah, it's just and then it's feeding off of the current affairs or current situations in the world to play off of. And do you find that they give you a lot of freedom or all the things you can and can't do, or are you allowed to explore?
I don't know. I explore as much as I can. I kind of designated an area that I can work within, but they are accepting of think ideas that they think are good, and I'm not. I don't know if I could say that I have a whole lot of freedom, but I do know that I have enough uh, to do some things. But yeah, no, I remember those days. That back then, I don't know if yeah, without the people in the business and the league supporting these characters and allowing them to do a lot of these things that they did. I don't know if mascots could have, would have survived if they hadn't let that creativity uh, show.
Well, they see the value, they see the entertainment value and the branding and the connection to the community. If they have any sense, they'll see that.
Yeah,
And of course, has to work on paper too in terms of budgets, but you know.
yeah, it
So
was
that
it. Yeah, a lot of creativity came out of those days, and I feel like some characters are being held on a tighter leash. But
do you think that's more of the personality of the person doing the
um,
character or just the fear of lawsuits, which are in a crazy world that we're in?
yeah, I think it mostly has to do with probably with that. A lot to do with offending people. Um, I'm not allowed to flirt with a girl. Um, not allowed, heck, sometimes not allowed to refer to Hooper as a he. They they kind of don't. I don't know. It's a crazy world.
Hooper's pronouns,
Yeah, we're. Uh, I mean, the conversation hasn't come up in a while, but
like
you know,
what's Hooper's gender?
yep,
Because it's important, you know. I guess it kind of is, but
yeah,
yeah, because that is interesting. All the mascots are male, just by
yeah.
assumption.
I mean,
You never even thought about that. That's interesting.
yeah. I helped create a character for our G League, and I used the Washington Wizards. We've seen G Wiz.
No,
Um, that thing really doesn't have a pronoun. That thing is, I don't know what that thing is. It's a great character, but you couldn't really see if it was. You really wouldn't define it as a boy or a
well,
girl. But
that's an interesting angle to go on because that's the world we're in,
yeah,
and that would be actually cool if there was a lady mascot that was actually a
yeah,
female character.
yeah,
That would be interesting, and yeah, maybe that could be fun. Maybe you could explore that.
yeah. I know the WNBA kind of has a lot more. They have
Oh, do they
female. Yeah,
female
so
mascots?
yeah, so the
Oh,
WNBA has a lot more female mascots, and I don't know how many teams actually have mascots, but I think they tend to have. I've seen a lot more female mascots
that would be
there.
funny. You said you're not allowed to flirt with lady fans, but maybe you could flirt with a lady mascot and
Yeah,
have this little budding romance going between. That would be kind of funny. I don't know how you
yeah.
would do it, but that thought just came to me
I don't know.
because I'm not pulling it off. I'm just thinking about it. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. When we were creating this character for the G League, they really wanted to make sure that he was gender neutral, that he was that he was, you know, that his pronouns were non-binary. But the whole time we're having this meeting, they kept referring to him as a he, and it
Because
looks
they're
like a
used to
boy,
it.
a guy. He's even got male features and things like that. And like, just, I mean, if you want to do that, let's do that. But maybe look for a character that kind of fits more naturally with
Well, like Bernie with the Miami Heat. Bernie
Bernie.
was
Yep,
pretty. You could have never, other than his name,
it's a thing.
it's a
Yeah, it's
thing. Yeah, or the San Diego a chicken, an animal. I guess. Yeah. Why is Rocky a dude? Why is Hooper
yeah.
a dude? Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know.
Crazy world, crazy road to go down for sure.
Yeah.
But
So yeah,
well,
who
man,
knows?
Um, in wrapping this up, is there anything that you want to share about what you do and the things you see and how that's influenced and affected your life and watching your dad do it for years that maybe I haven't asked you?
Um, shoot, yeah, I don't know. Um, the uh, the only thing that comes to mind is just back to the fact of why we do this, keeping in mind that people are always watching, whether you're a mascot or not. People are always watching. You're an influence to somebody out there right now. It's kind of taking some of those things that I've learned that there's always somebody watching, and now I've really got people in the house that are watching even what happens behind closed doors. And um
Your kids.
you're yep, my kids, if that wasn't
Yep.
clear. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
your kids and your wife and
yep,
you know,
yep,
making sure you don't get a big head as a superstar.
yep.
Yeah.
Little acts of kindness go a long way, often when you don't expect it to.
What would you say to a young high school kid, college kid that perhaps wanted to try this? What would you say to them?
um Keep working hard, keep working hard, and also reach out. Uh there's a lot of characters in the league that will definitely respond to a social media comment or a DM. Reach out for help and advice, and um, that people are more than willing to give any advice that they can, or if they can be of any help at all.
Very
And
cool.
people don't know that. Now, the
Well, they
character's
they
not up.
they probably think, oh, it's like reaching out to someone who's got 50,000 followers or something. You know you're never going to get a response back, but it's worth trying. But yeah, you're a superstar,
Yeah.
so like, why would they talk to me? Kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I know I definitely check it. I don't know if any other characters do, but I check those messages, and I read them. So
Awesome, Garrett. Man, I appreciate you coming on and sharing this. It's been fun. Um, it's been fun watching your dad and the growth he's had over the years, and now to see you and your. Can I mention the other secret or no?
yeah,
With
yeah,
your
yeah,
brother
absolutely.
doing kind of filling in footsteps as well,
Hmm.
which is wild. And is Cade gonna figure out where to go to, or is he just like bag that crap? I don't want to be on that side of the mask.
Yeah, he's he wants to stick to videos and editing and things like that.
Oh, your dad shines because of him.
He really does. I mean, that's why he got Mascot of the Year a couple years back, is because Cade was
He's
able to portray, what he did. So,
oh yeah, no, he's yeah. Your dad would
you
be
know,
dead without him,
yeah.
you know.
By
So
the way, this is a great time to talk about Rocky, because Rocky's going viral right now.
oh,
Have you
is he?
seen
What
that?
had no, I haven't. What's going on with Rocky?
Rocky is
Or
it's a
something
long
good or something
story.
dumb?
You never know, right? It's
Yeah.
always something. But no, there's a thing. Bleacher Report first posted it, but they posted Rocky's salary. Posted Rocky's apparently making $650,000 a year, and yeah, they're
That was the
posting
case.
that.
Drake probably is Drake still living at home?
Nope.
Oh,
He's
he's out.
he's
He's
in an
out now.
apartment,
Okay, good,
but
good. I was gonna say, if he's making 650 grand a year, he wouldn't be in an apartment.
I know. You know what? I don't even know where that started, but an article came out a while back. For some reason, posted that, and the numbers stayed the same ever since. And now Bleacher Report uh, posted it, and it's going viral right now. And
He could have
this,
so much fun with this. I'm sure he's already thinking through how to make this into skits and social media things.
yeah,
That's
oh
funny.
yeah, and yeah, of course, it's no idea where they got any of that information from, but
You know what he should do? And Drake, if you're listening, is maybe do a skit where you come out and you have this big old wallet, this
Yeah.
huge wallet, and you have it like stuffed in your pocket, and you just bills just running everywhere, and you just
Yeah.
something that would be really funny to play off that.
He's just got
Like
bills stuffed
just
in every.
stuffed everywhere, and he's got a gold chain and all this stuff. That would be funny. Yeah. Well, I will
Uh,
check that out. I did not know that, but funny enough, I don't follow sports hardly at all, which is weird
you,
that
you
I
know
did what
what?
I did.
I I barely do myself.
I look at it and follow the things I do because of you and people I know that are in that industry. But outside of that, I don't on my own. I'm missing the gene that causes guys to watch sports and eat up every statistic out there. I just
Yeah.
not in me. I'm missing that. But
You know what? I'm the same way. I If it wasn't part of my job, then heck, my wife sometimes knows more than I do
yeah, which
about
is a
some things,
yeah,
but
yeah. Well, and generally speaking, your wife does probably know more than you do. So just embrace that and tell her she's right.
yep, yep, she is right.
Yep.
she
So,
she
all
definitely
right, man.
does.
Well, thank you so much. Again, I appreciate you coming on, sharing. This has been fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was good to see you again.
All right, man. You too. Thank you again for listening to the Parish the Thought Show. We would love your comments and feedback on our website at briankeithparish.com/feedback. If you love or hate what you hear, please give us a rating on whatever platform you find us. Thank you again for listening to the show. I really appreciate the time you spend to hear the words and hear our guests. If you or anyone you know would like to be a guest on the show, please send an email to parishpodcast@gmail.com. That's parishpodcast@gmail.com. You're still here? Click on the next episode for more from the Parish the Thought Show.